strange to filter through this land of ours and fill a sportsman's dreams. Enjoy what nature holds for us, her bounty never ends. Getting back to basics with the practical sportsman. It's always an adventure, no matter where we go. From a favorite hunting spot to the hottest fishing hole. Outdoor life we all can share with family and friends. We'll do it all together with a practical sportsman. We'll do it all together with a practical sportsman.
Hi there, come on in. It is Thursday night, the 20th of June. Already, believe it or not. Wow, this summer is going by, Zach.
It sure is.
Way too fast. And this show's going to go by. It's going to take about a half hour. And what are we going to talk about?
Well, you got some stuff to let us know about the new CCW laws, right?
That's right. That? Yeah, and we're going to talk about a lot of different types of outdoor news, DNR fees, should they go higher or lower. We're going to talk fishing, you have a guide report, and a lot more. I'm Fred Trost.
And I'm Zachary Trost, and it's Thursday night, and you're watching The Practical Sportsman.
Another topic that is still hot today is Michigan's concealed weapons law. You know, the one that allowed people to get a permit to carry a pistol concealed on their person or in their car if they had a clean record. If they were deemed to be an upstanding citizen and the government couldn't come up with a reason, at least from the safety of the public, for not granting that person a permit. This is tied in with the Second Amendment. Well, at the time this bill was passed, I looked at that and I said, this is not really a good bill. This really has some hooks in it. Well, that wasn't too popular when I talked like that back in those days. But today, sportsmen are coming around to that same conclusion, unfortunately. But to give you a grounding in as to what involved, the class that sportsmen have to take or citizens have to take in order to get a permit and what this entails, let's go back to the update that I did just before the bill came into effect in 2001. Now, this whole thing about the concealed weapons permit, the newspapers have it wrong, anti-gun people have it wrong, and I think a lot of sportsmen have it wrong too. They just don't understand what it's about. This class, fortunately, explains not only some aspects of gun handling and safety that are very important, but a lot of the class dwells on the laws that pertain to owning, transporting, and using guns in Michigan for all kinds of reasons, especially personal protection. Quite enlightening class it was. And let me go through the class, and then I want to explain to you some things about this new law that I'm willing to bet you don't understand.
Next is caliber. I want to take a minute to talk about caliber because it mentions it at this point in the book.
The class I took in preparation for applying for the new concealed weapons permit is the NRA Personal Protection class that meets all the qualifications of the Michigan statute. Naturally, a part of the class is about guns themselves.
So I don't care what kind of gun you take. I don't want it pointed at me. I don't want somebody shooting me. But I need to tell you about caliber so you can make an intelligent choice for yourself.
John Speck, the certified NRA instructor, says education is your best shot.
I mean, I don't think anyone here wants to go to prison for one day, let alone up to 15 years. No one here is really going to...
Mike Clarizio, the assistant prosecutor for Clinton County, spent a couple hours explaining the law, self-defense, and why shooting someone is legal trouble no matter what the circumstance.
He decided that he took a good look at the CCW program as it is in this county, and it's pretty much a county-by-county operation. And he decided that just the way it was set up, it was inherently unfair.
Sergeant Bob Stipple of the Clinton County Sheriff's Department explained the changes in the process of getting a CCW and also explained how the new CCW is not like the old one. He discussed ways of avoiding armed confrontations because shooting somebody is not the purpose of carrying a concealed weapon. But there's no point in having a gun if you don't know how to shoot it accurately, carry it safely, and the responsibilities that go with it.
Over in the right. All ready to lift? Commence firing!
90% of the class was learning about the law, about responsibility and liability. We had a written test and a firearms test to make sure we were familiar with the basics. That class was fun. It was extremely interesting. But there's something about that class, though, that distressed me greatly. And I have the same attitude that, Toby White has and other people who have taken the class. We're not really sure whether this is one step forward or one step forward and 3 steps back. What we're losing by this new CCW law, by being able to get a permit easily, at least if you qualify and you don't have a criminal record and so on, what you're getting with this permit is not what we thought we were going to get. We thought we were going to get the general permit, the one where you can carry most every place and not worry about being apprehended. Well, that's not the way this new law works. There is no more general permit after July 1st. I don't think the anti-gun people understand what the restrictions are with this new statute. See, right now, the law says, the statute says that you can carry a handgun. If you qualify, if you're of sound mind and you can possess a gun, you can carry it in public areas, except for the law specifically says there are 8 areas where you cannot carry. Banks, churches, courts, theaters, sports arenas, daycare centers, hospitals, or any establishment licensed under the Liquor Control Act. Now, these location restrictions do not apply under current law to the 22,000 people who have what's called the general CCW, permit to carry concealed weapons. And here's the bite. After July 1st, those 22,000 people are going to lose their general permits. They will not be able to carry in those 8 locations. Nobody will. And the definition of those 8 locations is quite broad. For example, a sports arena, we're not just talking about Joe Louis or the Silver Dome. We're talking about places where games are played, competitive games. I mean, we're talking about some new definitions and penalties that go with this law that are frightening. I mean, if you're a law-abiding person who gets this liberalized CCW and you inadvertently go into one of these locations or travel through or pass through and get caught, believe me, the penalties will make your head spin. When Ted Nugent finds out that he can't carry his handgun in the places he's been carrying them for years, the places he works, the places he goes, I don't think he's going to be a happy camper. I think the 22,000 people who have the existing general permits, many of them for self-protection, are going to find themselves with less protection. And I think those of us who think we're going to be getting a general permit are going to be not only disappointed with the restrictions of what we get, but will be frightened by the penalties of violating this permit, even if it's a mistake. There's a lot of concerns here, folks, but let me tell you one thing. The CCW law, no matter whether you're pro-gun or anti-gun, is not what you think it is. I will take questions. Another fun thing in the outdoors is the shooting sports. And Mike Stewart, who is also a custom knife maker, he's an expert on collectible knives, on weapons, firearms. He's also a weapons instructor and a shotgun instructor for clays. He's helped me out an awful lot with my clay shooting. And we're going to have periodically different things on the show about shotgun shooting from Mike Stewart. And here's an example of a part of a lesson he was giving to one of his students.
A straightaway, normally you shoot right in the back of it. Here, I want you to bring the gun up, blot it out, and pull the trigger.
Okay.
And he'll break every one of them.
Okay.
Let's see.
Pow!
Okay, only shoot once.
One bullet?
Only shoot once.
Did I miss that?
No. Don't hold the gun so close to the trap.
Okay.
Hold it at that, see that tall tree?
Yeah.
Right about there.
Okay.
Bird will come out, touch it, just come up, blot it, pull the trigger.
Okay. Pull!
See how much harder you hit the target?
Yep. Way easier.
Yeah. Excessive gun movement is not a good thing.
Pull! Pull! I like it when I do that.
Well, if you do this technique correctly, you'll break it every time. Now, could you load 2, please?
Yeah.
Tim, can we have a report pair?
Same button.
Same button. When she'll say pull. When the machine recocks, throw
You're
the
gonna
second
have to
one.
move.
Oh, I will, but excuse me, Mike. Why did you tell her to only shoot once?
In sporting clays, you have full use of the gun. You can shoot twice at singles. Learning to practice, I'm not trying to teach you how to hit it right the second time you shoot. You should be able to learn how to hit it right the first time you shoot. So in lessons, we never shoot twice at targets because we didn't hit it the first time. That's of no consolation.
Okay.
But I usually do. Pull!
Try it again. What are you doing the first time?
The first time it's getting up above my barrel. I stopped it.
That's because you didn't continue up. You have to
Right.
continue up with it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Pull!
Well, this may not be a 45-pound salmon, but it is a 1 pound, 1 ounce red ear sunfish. So this is a red ear?
Yes, it is.
Okay, now how can you tell that from a bluegill?
Right behind the dark spot, there'll be a little line of red.
Okay, and otherwise it looks an awful lot like a bluegill, but red ears are supposed to fight a lot more.
Oh yeah. This actually, I caught it ice fishing, and I had a real light line, and it took about 10 minutes actually. I thought I had a bass at first until I got up to the hole.
Well, this was Long Lake in Oakland County.
Oakland County, yep.
And have you ever caught any of these in the spring or summer?
No. This is just this one ice fishing.
Well, that's something else. So you haven't eaten any red ears?
No, actually, I was going to eat him, but after we looked in the book and saw that it was a Master Angler Award, decided to have it mounted instead.
Well, that's great. A 11 1/4 inch by Tom Tobby from Commerce Township. Hey, way to go. That is a trophy. I really enjoy the trophy book stories, and the trophy book data can be interesting, but you know, not all trophies have to be really big. Some of them are so unusual they're worthy of note. Now, Don Herzog, who lives down in the Barry County area, caught this bass on a private lake in Barry County. He calls it the bulldog bass. When I showed this otherwise normal-looking mount to our museum taxidermist Tim Hayes, I really only wanted to know what he thought about this fish's face. What's that all about?
Hard to say. He looks like he ran into a cement wall next to a nuclear power plant.
Whoa, turn him around here so I can see inside his mouth.
It's actually the inner part of the mouth is formed pretty much anatomically correct. I'm not sure if the fish could actually close his mouth or not. He obviously ate and survived, so I mean he must have been somewhat healthy. He doesn't look like he's deformed in any other way. I mean,
But he certainly is deformed in the face.
yeah, I imagine he probably wasn't as fast a swimmer as the other fish, who are a lot more streamlined. But
I mean, his eyes. Oh, there's the angle.
Have you ever seen anything like this before?
As a matter of fact, I have. I've seen a couple other fish that have the same basic rounded, no forehead look. A friend of mine in Toledo has a walleye that he caught and did for himself that exactly the same type of configuration. But why it is, I have no idea. It's a deformity that you'd think the fish wouldn't live through, but obviously he did. I mean, he was healthy enough to bite whatever the person that caught him.
That's one strange looking mother.
You know, like I say, we used to laugh about them, figure, hey, they hung out too close to the nuclear plants, but it's really hard to say what. It'd be interesting to see what a biologist had to say about it.
You can see this bulldog bass at the museum, courtesy of Don Herzog of Berry County. Well, the guide report, the news, we've covered a lot of things on this show, a lot of different topics. Next week, we're going to have to get outdoors. In fact, what I want to run, Zach, is this bed and breakfast concept. I put on a feature earlier this year that the Lanskys up in the Glennie area have this. It's not a bed, they call it a cold bed and breakfast. Mm-hmm. Remember that deal? I mean, that's a little different concept, but people have asked to see that again, so we're going to run that next week, along with another special new addition to the, I suppose, Practical Sportsman family. Bill Yoder's a part of that. And you can also see the new addition to the family, which we're going to show you in just a moment. But right now we're going to sign off. Hope everybody has a good, safe weekend, and get outdoors if you can. It's a great place to be. See you next week. Timid little thing?
She can be a little bit timid.
It may look like your everyday putty tat, but it isn't. This is a bobcat. This is Bill Yoder's newest addition to his family, and one that he's going to have around for quite some time. We're going to watch him grow up on this program. So meet Bobby Joe the Bobcat this week right here on Public TV. Sunrise. What a beautiful part of the day. This is Fishing Camp, Northern Ontario in July. At the bow of the boat, my 21-year-old son, Zach. At the motor, my 15-year-old son, Jason. And in one of the boats ahead, my dad. It was a father-son fishing trip. My favorite lure, by the way, is one my dad introduced me to in Canada when I was 10 years old, a Gold Williams wobbler. I guess it's just nostalgia, but there's always been something special about the lure I used for pike and walleye fishing with my dad back in the 50s. And now on this father-son-grandson trip in the 80s, I'm using the same lure, casting and trolling for pike and walleye. Carl Salling was fishing with his son Mike, who caught a nice little pike early in the week.
That's like you're getting right over the back of the head. These are just the little guys.
The river we're fishing is the Attawapiskat, which flows into the Hudson Bay. We're at Pym Island, an Indian-owned camp, and Carl Salling from In Season Adventures books trips to this camp. It's the northernmost fishing camp in Ontario. It's not known for lots of fish, it's known for trophies, but we warm up on some smaller ones.
Hey, now that is not a bad walleye at all.
Oh, I got him under the chin.
A nice Canadian walleye. Well, what do you think, John? Shore lunch?
That's it.
Shore lunch, or do you think we'll catch a lot more?
Yeah, I guess we might as well put them back.
The teeth on those.
Now here's where a fisherman gambles on how many he's going to catch.
Oh! You know, they sit there so nice for so long, and you can look at them, and then they go haywire. Well, we'll let them go.
Now this is something I don't often do, but we're only keeping fish we're going to eat that night.